Hi, my name is Tony Rose Gannon, she, her pronouns, and I'm a former middle school English teacher for 10 years and an instructional coach for a year prior to joining the Modern Classrooms team full-time. This is a teacher tip about teaching novels from my Modern Classroom. As the humanities teachers, we are often tasked with teaching novels as part of our curriculum. We know that teaching novels can be challenging and planning for it can even be more daunting. With Modern Classrooms, I was able to be more intentional with the skills, tasks, and readings. I planned and executed teaching novels in my Modern Classroom with the focus on blended learning, self-paced structures, and mastery-based grading. Since I had the autonomy to choose the novel I wanted to teach and read with my students, the very first thing I did was to choose a novel that is the most culturally relevant and sustaining for my students based on the standards and skills that we are learning for that school year. If your school has already picked a book for you, you can still expose your students to other books through supplemental text and independent reading. In a 9-week unit, my ELA team and I taught the reading skills of the author's craft, compare and contrast, and writing skills of formulating an essay. We divided the unit into 2 mini units, a 3-week unit for essays and a 5-week unit for reading, with 1 week for mandatory test prep to transfer the skills that students learned. My team and I created videos for skills that we wanted to teach our students. The first 3 weeks were done as a model for students to get comfortable learning how to compare and contrast 2 different texts. We created instructional videos for intro, contrast words, thesis, topic sentences, body paragraphs, and intro conclusion paragraphs. We read and discussed the text aloud as a whole class and provided copies of it on our LMS for students who may miss the class. We also explicitly reminded students over and over again that they will be comparing and contrasting 2 texts independently in the 5-week mini unit. For the next 5 weeks, we created videos on the author's purpose, types of text structures, prompt breakdown, and how to write a thesis statement and how to create a works cited page. Students were able to access these videos and learn at their own pace whenever possible. Because of our instructional videos, we were able to create self-paced structures during this big unit. We sprinkled in our unit calendar when we'll have close reading as a class and when self-pacing was happening. So for the first 3 weeks, we focused on modeling teacher expectations as well as introducing skills. As you can see here, we had suggested deadlines throughout the week. The bolded words were lessons and the ones in red are what we were grading. We had whole class lessons like a live essay and close reading that we did all together. For the 5-week mini unit, students have some knowledge of skills that we introduced, and this is their time to shine. My team and I had to be super intentional and aware of the timing that we had for a unit. As much as we wanted our students to read the entire book, there are life factors that are happening outside the classroom that won't make this attainable for all students. As a team, we decided to focus on the most important excerpts of the book Code Talker as must-do. Our should-do was to read other chapters, and our aspire-to-do was to read the entire book. We hyped up the book so students were more excited to read the entire book. For students who were absent for a close reading, we provided recordings of the excerpts and guiding questions as they read or listened. We gave quick summaries of chapters we didn't read together as a class so the book still made sense to students, or sometimes students who read those chapters provided that summary for their peers. Since students were comparing and contrasting 2 texts, they were also doing an independent read based on the books that are similar to Code Talker. We partnered up with our librarian to create this list that would be engaging and relevant for our students, and students were able to choose the book they wanted to read on their own or alongside peers. Students were expected to create their own pacing progress for the book that they chose to read alongside Code Talker. We were strategic with due dates and chose the most meaningful excerpts to focus on the skills we were teaching. And because of this, we were able to focus on mastery-based grading. Because we knew that students had to write a compare-contrast essay, we broke down the essay components into quick mastery checks. For example, students turned in their thesis statements first, then they had to decide what structure they wanted to use with their essay and write a body paragraph, and so on. They practiced these skills in the 3-week mini unit to be successful for the 5-week mini unit. We as educators were able to provide feedback in real time and focus on providing students who needed extra support or celebrating mastery of skills throughout the week. We often get asked how to teach novels in a modern classroom and how novel studies foster collaboration. So I'm excited to share this teacher tip from my Modern Classroom with you.